the general population saw Trump wandering around the stage, wandering around in his speech, unfocused, unprepared. He had publicly said he wasn't going to do any preparation work. And people were saying, unless he gets his act together for the third debate, he's not even plausible as a candidate. Lo and behold, October 19th, the third debate comes. And whether or not you like the content of his speech, whether you agree with his thoughts, most observers said, oh, he's sort of staying in one place. He's more or less answering some of the questions. His sentences, one flow from another. He looks more presidential. And if you look at the polling and I'm looking at the 538 collective polling numbers from October 19th, in the 3 weeks till the election, Trump's polling numbers go up 3%. Hillary stayed pretty much flat. There's a tiny dip, much less than 1% after the Comey verdict. So we can say that his performance in that debate may be well responsible for why he got elected. So as someone who is already aware that Trump has ADHD, and I can get into that whole discussion, I was thinking what could be going on that could make someone who, what was actually going on in the presentation and why did he look more presidential? So I began by looking at just physical gestures, and I measured any movement that was more than 10 centimeters. So it could be hand gestures, it could be body gestures, it could be moving around. And in the first two debates, he's making 42 of these gestures a minute. 42. That's, he's never still. The third debate, it drops down to 13 a minute. That's dramatically, he's sitting there calmly. Now, someone with ADD, if they're really focusing on their behavior, if they're holding themselves, they might be able to control that. So that doesn't in itself prove anything, but stimulants are one of the things that we know that makes someone with ADHD less hyperactive. So then I looked, and this is a somewhat squishier measure on what I call coherence of his speech. And that's just, does one sentence have any logical connection to the sentence before it? Again, not whether it's true, not whether it's mean or stupid, but just does it follow? You'll see throwing in a comment about Rosie O'Donnell. And in his first two debates, his rate of coherence, by my measure, is about 64%. That shoots up to 85%. Most of us are more coherent than that anyway, but that's still a marked improvement. And what's more compelling about these two together, that's simultaneously happening while his gestures are getting less hyperactive. Now, someone with ADHD, if they're really wanting to be more coherent, may focus on their speech. But if you're focusing on your speech, your body is going to be more out of control. So to have his body in more control and his speech more in control is highly suggestive, but still circumstantial evidence that he was taking stimulants.